I don't even know how to start this video. Oh, I just feel so weird making videos like this. I feel so weird about it. I haven't been great lately. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't been myself in the last month or two. And I've been really encouraged to talk about things more on my channel that are a little bit more personal, because I know that you guys like to get to know me a little bit better. And as the platform has grown, I know you guys like feeling a little bit more connected. I love that. And I love watching videos where I can connect with the creator, but for whatever reason, I have such a hard time doing it. I feel like I always start these videos like the same way, because I think some things like shouldn't be overshared online. I think we are in a generation of oversharing everything, and that's great for some people, but you also have to like respect that some things are just like in your own heart and can't be overshared. But I'm pushing myself today because there are things that I want to talk about on here and that I feel like a lot of you could relate to, and hopefully it will help you not feel alone. Whenever I watch videos like this, I always think like, oh my gosh, that's exactly how I'm feeling, and that person understands. In many ways that helps me a lot. So I hope that I can be that source for someone that's going through something right now. I'm okay, like everything is fine, but I haven't been like my normal self, and it's been hard coming on this platform and being bubbly and happy and super positive and all of the things, when inside and in my own life things have kind of taken a turn, and there's been like some hard things that have happened. So join me on this ride, do your makeup with me, hang out. So I guess the thing that really has shaken me up in the last little bit is my grandparents live in Brazil. They lived in Brazil, and I live in Canada. And we immigrated to Canada when I was a little girl. And every year we went back and we spent Christmas with them and a few weeks with them. And it was like the best memory ever. It was like the best memory. So they've been really far, right? And when I had my first baby, when I was 28, I could not really go back to see them because the flight is 10 hours. I mean, I could, but it would have been really hard. And I didn't, but I talked to them on FaceTime every week, like all the time. And that was like the best, right? And it's so funny because my grandpa was a banker, and he would always give me like money advice, like all the time. He'd be like, how much money did you make today? How much money do you make per hour? How much do you have in your retirement savings? And he would say like, you're young now, but trust me, when you're young, you never think you'll be old. And then one day you wake up and you are old. And I said this in another video, he would always tell me, you know, don't be afraid of getting older, because what you should be afraid of is not getting older. And I have thought about that a lot, and I bring that into my videos a lot. And I do a lot of aging videos and how to do your makeup when you are getting older, and how to embrace the changes with age, or how to prolong a youthful look, what you can do in terms of beauty to prolong a youthful look. But for me, like, because of my family and my grandparents, aging is like a beautiful thing, because I saw them really enjoy us, you know, as grandkids, and enjoy their family. And you know, my grandpa loved his iPad, and he would call me all the time on FaceTime. I mean, like, he'd call me like 10 times a day, to the point where I'd be like, stop calling me, like I have to work, you know, because he was retired and he was lonely and he didn't have a lot to do. And him and my grandma would always be there sitting in the same spot, and they would get all excited when they would see me. And then when COVID hit, it got hard for them, you know, because of the isolation. And I think a lot of you guys can relate to that with grandparents. My grandma ended up falling in the bathroom one night, and she broke her femur. Yeah. And then that was kind of the beginning of the end, you know, because after that, she couldn't walk anymore. And she didn't want that life, you know. She totally lost her mobility, and COVID was already happening, and that was tough because of the isolation. So I talked to them a lot during that time. And that's when like everything went downhill, right? Because then she started getting infections in her leg, and then she had to go to the hospital all the time, and she really hated the hospital, and they would put so much morphine in her drip to control the pain that she would not when I would call her, she would be talking but not making like total sense at times, or be a little bit delirious. And it was hard because I had a special relationship with my grandparents, as I'm sure most people do. And my grandpa was always the one that was fine. He would go to the mall every day and he would buy them lunch and he would walk there all by himself. And he was always okay, And I would talk to him and he would tell me, this has been a really tough year, because he would see how much she was suffering. And he said, but in a whole lifetime of wonderful things, 1 or 2 bad years is okay. And I've always kind of held on to that, because what an amazing way of looking at it when your life kind of implodes. He would say on FaceTime, this has not been a good year. And there was a lot of other stuff going on with his family too that was hard. And he said, but in a lifetime of good things, at least, this is the only year that's not good. Oh Lord, I'm not going to be able to do my makeup at all. It's going to be a no shadow under eye kind of day, isn't it? We get this call one day that out of nowhere, my grandpa, who was completely fine, woke up in the middle of the night and walked to the mall by himself. And the guards at the bottom of the building saw him leave and called the caretaker, who then came and took him home. And he was very confused and he didn't know where he was or what was going on. And then that was it. He was like completely fine one day. And then the next day he wasn't. He just declined, and then he passed away a few days or a few weeks later. So I keep thinking about her sadness and the reality that that's what happens, in your life. You're young one day, you meet the love of your life, you have kids, you raise your kids, you get old, and then you lose that person, and like everyone goes through that. And then shortly after that, she passed. It's crazy because at first I was fine, I was like, she was in her 90s and she was so sad, and I would call her on FaceTime. She was so sad. She didn't want that life. And I understand, she had no mobility because of her leg. And she lost her companion and her best friend. And like, who wants that life? You don't. So I was at peace with it, But then I went on holidays last week to Dominican. And every year in Christmas, I would go to Brazil with my parents, and we would go to a resort with my grandparents. And being there and not being distracted by this noise of social media and comments and work and sponsorships and emails, it was like I went back in time to when I was little, having fun at this resort with my grandparents. At that moment, last week, I felt such an overwhelming amount of sadness, because being there was so triggering to all the feelings. My grandpa loved desserts, for example. So when we were at the buffet and I saw all the flan style desserts that he loved, I could see his face eating them, and I could hear my grandma's voice telling him not to eat so much because he was diabetic, and it's some days I can hear their voice, and I can hear my phone ringing because it's my grandpa calling me 15 times that day. And there's things you take for granted, and then when they're gone, you wish that you could hear that annoying phone ring when you were doing your 10th client of the day, and you're thinking, Grandpa, why are you calling me? It's 2 o'clock. I will call you after dinner like I always do. I'm not going to be able to do my makeup today. I'm going to collect myself here. So that's the first thing that's been going on. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, I am not going to cry anymore because There are other things that I have to do today. Something else I want to talk about is the pressure. This social media pressure is hard. When I was a little baby creator, I had this mentor named Daniel Batal. He's a great creator. You guys should check him out. And we would meet and he would give me amazing advice on how to maximize my titles and how to work on thumbnails better to get a better, return. There's a lot about this platform that people don't know. I think you think, oh, you make a video and you set it to go live and you do well. And that's not the case. Like, YouTube is very, very hard. It's a very hard platform. And there is so much more than just like setting content to go live. It's a lot about finding content that isn't oversaturated, that you can compete in, creating better quality content than other people, finding keywords that a lot of people are searching for. There's so much to it. And it's an incredibly demanding job because you not only have to take all of those things into account, you also have to create a thumbnail and a title that people will click on. You need to give great information. You need to be fast moving so it's not boring and people stay on, all of that stuff, right? Like, I could make a whole video about YouTube and how I grew my following. But I remember Daniel once telling me when I was like, I just want to quit my job at the salon. I just want to do this full time. And he said, like, be careful what you wish for. And I never knew what he meant by that, but I definitely know what he meant by that now. This is not an easy job, It's extraordinarily labor intensive. And there are so many creators that end up having like major mental health crises and quitting. And there are so many of those like, I'm back videos and all that, and you wonder why. And I can definitely see why a lot of creators end up taking breaks from creating. When you are creating content on YouTube, you have to be like a machine. You have to keep producing content and you have to keep it going. And when you're working on one video, you are already planning the next and the next and the next. And the crazy thing is that you get your AdSense revenue, right? And you get some affiliate codes. But it's all pretty much free. It's free content unless you do like a memberships platform or whatever. So if you are an adult and you need to make money, like I do because I have children and I have to provide for them financially and take care of them, then you have to monetize it somehow. The only real way to monetize your content is to do sponsored videos if you don't have your own product line, right? The crazy thing about this is that if you do that, you will get so much hate for doing sponsored videos. But I don't know how people expect you to be a creator and to make content all day, every day, and to produce like 2-3 videos a week if you don't do any sponsors. Like, you cannot. You will have to get a job, right? Because sponsors pay, and it doesn't pay to make free, like, you're watching this for free. So I have to provide a living for my family, so I have to do sponsors. So I'm at a place in my YouTube journey now where I'm really lucky because I get so many sponsorship opportunities now that the channel is big that I can be like extremely selective and super, super picky with what I'm talking about and how I'm talking about it and for how long I'm talking about it for. Like, I'll give you an example. So Kenzie, I'm just gonna like throw this company under the bus, but whatever. Kenzie reached out to me and they are a laser removal at-home device, and I thought it was really cool. So I agreed to do the sponsorship and they sent over the product. And the first day that I was trying the product, the whole thing like exploded in my bathroom. I was like, well, not like physically exploded, but it was like it shorted. It smelled like burning electrical. And then that was it. And then it was gone. So then I contacted them and I'm like, really weird. I use this product. I used it as directed and the thing exploded. And they were like, oh my God, okay. Here, we'll send you another one. So they sent me another one. And then they sent me the talking points of what they wanted me to say about it. And it was so insanely, ridiculously specific. Like, you have to say this exactly, and you have to pop up these words exactly, and you have to do this, and you have to prove how it's so effective. But I was like, wait, you say that you have to do this, I don't remember now, but I think it was like once a week or something for like 3 months before you see any results. I got this tool a week ago and this video is due next week and you want me to show before and afters. Like, that's disingenuous. That's not real. Like, I can't show before and afters. There will be no before and afters. Even you say that it takes 3 months. So they basically want you to like lie about your before and afters. And truthfully, I don't know if the product works, because my first one shorted, and then the second time I was so turned off by the content brief that I declined the sponsorship. So then there's all that drama, right? Because you think, okay, I'm gonna get paid X amount of dollars, which is like my mortgage, to talk about this product. I could just say it worked. I can just say that. Like, I need the money. Like, I'm a content creator. This is all that I have, right? But you have to be really strong in your own ethics and find other ways of generating revenue. And my other way of generating revenue is by having a bridal business. Because if you go down this rabbit hole where you're only creating content and you really need the money, you'll kind of do whatever it takes to get that money, because you need to like support your family, right? Unless you're a really young creator who's like living at home or whatever. And I can see why so many people start when they're very young, because it is so hard to monetize and to have like a decent enough income that you can support your family. So anyway, I guess the thing that gets under your skin sometimes is that I decline sponsorships all the time, and I don't come on here and tell you guys about it because I feel like my channel is more professional than that. I mean, other than like my bawling fest about 5 minutes ago. But then the crazy thing is that if you do sponsored content, people get really mad about it. So it becomes so tough. Like, this is such a hard career because you have to survive, right? So I vet my products. I make them send it to me extra early. If it's like a hair serum, I'm like, well, I have to try it for 6 months to see if I actually see any results before I talk about it. I'm like psychotic about it. And the only reason I can really be psychotic about it is because my husband is an engineer and has a stable job, right? And I have the bridal business. But then even after all of that, I guess because you guys don't see that, people get like pissed about it and they'll leave nasty comments. And I know like some of you guys are like, don't listen to the nasty comments, like who cares? And 99% of the time I can be that person that doesn't listen to the nasty comments and that genuinely like doesn't care. But when you're also going through something else in your personal life, it can be hard because you're like emotionally fragile and sensitive. So having something like that happening in the comment section can feel upsetting naturally, right? It's naturally going to feel upsetting. And beyond that, there's a lot of other comments and things that really can get to you. You know, I think that I try to be really engaged with you guys on here, and I try to respond to as many comments as I can every day so that you feel like you matter to me, because you do. You genuinely matter to me. The people that are on here that support me regularly, you genuinely matter to me. But when you're reading these things, you know, out of 100 nice comments, there will be one that's like super mean. And sometimes I learn from them and I think, okay, that person has a point. This wasn't great, or that didn't read well on camera, or whatever. And then I can make changes and be better. But then there's other ones that stick to your psyche and you think about it constantly. One comment that I get that's mean a lot is about my eyebrows and about how I've had too much work done. I think there's a misconception on here that I'm a lot older than I am because I've been making anti-aging content, because that's the age demographic of this audience and that is what you guys like to watch. Those are the videos that get the most views. Those are the videos that get the most return viewers. Those are the things that I think are the most helpful based on the comments. I've been in this industry for so long. I've worked with so many ages that I know that I can give you that information in a great way, and I can give you information that works because I've done that makeup 1,000 times, but I'm only 36, right? I'm turning 37. So the fact that I don't have like heavy wrinkles is because I'm young, not because I'm overdone. You know, like I can obviously move my forehead. I'm not saying I don't get Botox, I do, but I get a very small amount of Botox. And my eyebrows are very arched, and that's literally just my genetics. Like I don't even get Botox here to lift them. They are just arched in my genetics. And I'm finding now when I'm doing my makeup, I'm always trying to like draw in here to like make the arch more subtle. And look, like I'm literally doing it right now. And I guess that behavior of drawing in my brows there to make the arch more subtle is a direct correlator to the comments that I am reading that have stuck with me subconsciously, even if I don't want them to stick. Before YouTube, I would consider myself to be like a really confident person who really gave very little fucks. Like, I'm gonna be honest, like, I just wasn't that girl that was like, what do these people think? And is this outfit too much? And like, I'm extra and I have never been basic. I just like love that about myself. And I'm absolutely comfortable with that. But then all of a sudden now, before I would wear something with so much confidence and I literally couldn't care less, you know? And if it was like a miss, who cares, whatever, right? But now I just feel like I overthink everything. And I overthink my contour placement. And I overthink if I over-contoured my nose, and I overthink, oh, does my face look too frozen or whatever? And it's made me, I feel like incredibly insecure. You know, this platform has made me feel so insecure. And I know that some of you guys are gonna say like, don't pay attention to those comments. Those people are trolls and they're haters. It's like impossible not to pay attention to them. Like, imagine being on this platform and doing your craft and art and then having someone say, well, the model looked way better before you did her makeup. You're just like, you think, oh, did she? Let me look at that again. And you just get so insecure. And I mean, that's not even the worst of it. Like the ones where they're really like criticizing my physical appearance, like that gets brutal sometimes for you emotionally. So speaking of that, I wanted to take you down this rabbit hole that I went through recently as well. Okay, when I was like in my early 20s, I got this tattoo. I'll pop it up here. I got this tattoo of this vintage Barbie because ever since I was little, I had this fascination with dolls. And so much of that fascination has to do with my fascination and love of beauty. So I got this Barbie, but it was like extremely badly done. It was very badly done. From the moment that I got it, I really regretted that. I remember having so much anxiety over that tattoo, just absolutely freaking hating it from the moment that I got it. So my friend, who's an amazing tattoo artist, I asked him, like, is there anything that we can do about it so that it doesn't look like this anymore? And he was like, well, we can design this other tattoo over it. Like, do you still want a beautiful woman's face with really beautiful makeup? And I'm like, yes, that's like what I do. I want this woman on my arm to represent all the women whose makeup I've done in my life, who I've helped to feel better, you know? I feel like that's my purpose in this world, is to like give women tools to feel better, you know? So he designed this beautiful tattoo for me, and it is beautiful. And after I got it, I had like serious levels of panic. Serious levels of panic. And I kept challenging myself, like, why is this freaking me out? Am I afraid of what people are gonna think about it when I'm out or at the beach or with my kids? Am I gonna be perceived as this? Am I gonna be perceived as that? And normally, like, I really could not care less. Like, I really was so confident before. Like, I'd just be like, whatever. Like, you don't like it? Like, that sucks for you, you know? Like, I didn't care. But this tattoo kind of took me by storm. It really made me feel like, oh my gosh, I am having a mental breakdown here and I am freaking panicking and I need to get this out of my arm. So I started to really reflect. Guys, I cannot find my lip liner. So I started to reflect on why. Like, why am I having this insane reaction? Like, this was planned. It was scheduled for like over 8 months. It was sketched out multiple times. I saw it on my arm before he started. I knew what was happening. I hated the old one. This was a great solution to fix it and to create like a beautiful image that means a lot to me. Like, why am I freaking the heck out? And it all comes down to the comments section. Like, how ridiculous is that? It all comes down to the comment section. I just kept thinking, like, when I wear short sleeves on this channel, there's gonna be someone in the comment section that rips me to shreds because it's large, you know? And they're not gonna understand because they don't understand me and they don't know me. And the thought of that really terrified me. And I hate myself for feeling that way. I hate myself for giving random people on the internet who don't know me or care about me that kind of power. And I finally understand that warning, you know, be careful what you wish for. I understand that warning now because this is a powerful place to live. Living in this world is it's a powerful thing because you're alone all freaking day as a content creator. You never see anyone. I literally never leave my house. I am in my studio all day, every day. And when I'm not filming, I'm scripting. When I'm not scripting, I'm talking to brands. When I'm not talking to brands, I'm talking to my manager. And then I'm getting things approved. And then I'm doing revisions. And then I'm doing B-roll. And like your whole life revolves around this and being alone. But there's like, you know, almost 200,000 people in my case. And on some videos, it's like 1 million that are watching me, but you're alone. And it messes you up, you know? Even if you don't want to be affected by the comments, and you can even say that you're not, you are. You are affected by them. Because I really thought forever that I wasn't affected by the comments. I'm like, oh, whatever. Everyone has a right to their opinion. I'm not even going to delete the mean ones because they have a right to their opinion. And if they don't like me or they don't like this, they have a right to say that. And I was like so like that for so long. And then something like bad happened in my life. Like I lost my grandparents. And those comments like piss you off because now it's like you're vulnerable and your like sense of self is a little bit not secure. And then you're reading that on the bad days and that gets to you. Like I completely understand why people now take breaks from doing this because it can start to get to you. Even if you're strong, even if you're older, even if you're secure, when you're going through stuff in your personal life and you still have to show up and you still have to be super happy and you still have to be like bubbly and you're making content all day alone, that's free. And then you're getting so much criticism in the comments. It's like, what do you want from me? Like you're mad at me for doing a sponsor that I vetted, that I tried out for 3 months first, you know? So I can't do a sponsor, so I can't make any money. You're mad at me because you hate my eyebrows. So like maybe I can draw them and soften them so they're not so arched. And you're mad at me because I don't have wrinkles. Or I get comments like, well, I'm not seeing you wear your gray hair and you talk about how much you love gray hair. I don't have any gray hair. I'm only 36. Trust me, when my gray hairs come in, I'm gonna freaking rock them. Or maybe I won't. Maybe I'll see them and I won't like how they look on me and I'll color them like a lot of people do. I don't know, like I'm not perfect, right? But there's just so much on this platform that like gets under, it like gets to you. It like crawls its way into your brain and you're like, this isn't affecting me, this isn't affecting me. And then all of a sudden it's affecting you a lot. And I guess that's where I'm at right now with everything. You know, I'm fine. Like I don't want anyone to be worried. Like I'm okay. I'm not going to abandon YouTube. I hope that this helps some people feel not alone, you know, like even the people that seem like they have it together and that are happy and that are bubbly and like everything's wonderful. Like it's not like that all the time for most people that are adults, you know, it's not. I'm gonna go off camera and finish the rest of my face, my liner and my lashes and my hair, and then I'll be right back. So I managed to stop crying long enough to actually put on eye makeup, so that's good. I want you to know that if you've been here and you have supported me on this journey since the beginning, or you've recently found me and you do watch the videos and you appreciate them and are positive, I can't tell you how much that has meant to me, how much that does mean to me every single day, and how much your time is honored here. I really do put a lot of time, effort, and a tremendous amount of love into creating this content for you in hopes that it can help you feel beautiful and to feel how you are on the inside, on the outside. This video is over.